It's the middle of the night, 40,000 years ago. A woman is giving birth by the fire, surrounded by her whole tribe. But something goes wrong, and by morning, she's gone. In her arms is a newborn who's never taken a breath alone, with no one left to feed it. No formula, no bottle, just a hungry baby and a mother who will never wake up. So what happened next? The answer is the reason you're alive today. Let's start with why this happened so often. Because for humans, giving birth is uniquely, brutally dangerous. Millions of years ago, our ancestors stood up and started walking on two legs. That changed the shape of the pelvis, narrowing the birth canal. And at the same time, our brains were exploding in size, so evolution created an impossible problem. A big-headed baby trying to pass through a narrow opening. Scientists call it the obstetric dilemma. In almost every other mammal, birth is quick and relatively safe. In humans, it's long, agonizing, and deadly. For most of history, roughly 1 in every 100 births killed the mother. Do that over a lifetime of many pregnancies, and death in childbirth became one of the most common ways for a young woman to die. And when she died, she often wasn't alone. Because archaeologists keep finding the same grave all over the ancient world, a woman buried with care and cradled against her, a newborn infant. They died together, and someone laid them to rest as one. These double burials appear across continents and across thousands of years. Each one is a silent record of the same tragedy, repeating again and again through human history. Birth gave life and took it in the same breath. But here's the question that really matters. What happened when the mother died and the baby lived? Because that baby faced a death sentence of its own. A newborn can't eat. It can't chew. It can't digest solid food. For the first months of life, there is only one thing that keeps it alive: milk. And in a world with no formula, no bottles, no animal milk, that milk could only come from one place: another human being. So the survival of that orphaned baby depended entirely on whether another woman in the group was willing to feed it. And here's what's remarkable. Usually, one was. This is where humans reveal a superpower that almost no other animal has. We share our children. In most of the animal kingdom, a mother cares only for her own offspring. A chimpanzee mother will almost never nurse another female's baby. But humans are different. Anthropologists call us cooperative breeders. It means raising a child was never the job of one mother alone. It was the job of the whole group. Aunts, sisters, grandmothers, and other nursing mothers all shared in feeding and caring for the young. So when a mother died, there was often another woman already breastfeeding her own child who could take the orphan to her breast and keep it alive. She became what we'd later call a wet nurse. And this wasn't rare. It was one of the oldest and most important human instincts there is. This one ability may be the reason our species exists at all. Human babies are born helpless, with huge brains that take years to develop. No other ape raises a child that needs so much for so long. A single mother, alone, could never do it. The only way our fragile, big-brained, slow-growing babies could survive is if the entire community carried the weight together. So the death of a mother, as devastating as it was, didn't have to mean the death of her child. The group caught the baby that the mother could no longer hold. And the person who most often stepped in might surprise you: the grandmother. Humans are one of the very few species where females live for decades after they can no longer have children of their own. For a long time, scientists wondered why. Why would evolution keep a woman alive long past childbearing age? The leading answer is called the grandmother hypothesis. These older women were not extra mouths to feed. They were essential. A grandmother could gather food, watch over children, and step in when a mother was lost. When a young woman died in childbirth, it was often her own mother who took the newborn and made sure it lived. Grandmothers helped build the human race. So let's picture what actually happened on that terrible night. The mother is gone. The camp is in grief. But even in mourning, the group moves. Someone lifts the newborn from her arms. A woman who is already nursing pulls the baby close and lets it feed. Others gather to keep it warm through the night. The father, the aunt, the grandmother, the whole band quietly absorbs the loss and the responsibility. The child now belongs to everyone. It will grow up knowing its mother died, but it will also grow up surrounded by people who chose to keep it alive. In a hunter-gatherer camp, no child was ever truly orphaned. It was simply raised by more hands. But I don't want to paint this as always gentle, because it wasn't. Survival was harsh, and the outcome wasn't guaranteed. If no woman in the group was nursing, if there was no one able to feed the baby, then that child would slowly starve, and there was nothing anyone could do. In hard times, when food was scarce and the group could barely feed the mouths it already had, a motherless newborn was sometimes a burden the tribe simply could not carry. These were impossible choices made by people with no good options. Life and death balanced on whether one other woman happened to have milk to give. The same instinct that saved so many babies could not save them all. And after the mother was buried, the grief was real. We know this because ancient humans didn't just discard their dead. They buried them with care, sometimes with flowers, tools, and the very infant they died beside. They mourned. A woman who died giving life was not forgotten. In a small band of 30 or 40 people who had known her since birth, her loss tore a hole in the entire group. But that same closeness is exactly what saved her child. The tribe that grieved her was the same tribe that raised her baby. Then, slowly, everything changed. As humans built farms and villages and cities, some things got worse before they got better. But eventually, we learned. We discovered why women were dying. We invented ways to stop the bleeding, to fight infection, to cut a baby free when it could not come on its own. In the last 100 years, maternal death, which had haunted every generation of humans before us, almost vanished in much of the world. A mother dying in childbirth, once one of the most common tragedies on Earth, became rare. We beat the thing that killed our ancestors' mothers for 300,000 years. But we lost something too, because the ancient world had an answer for a motherless child: the village. The dozens of hands ready to catch a baby the moment it fell. Today, a new mother often raises her child almost completely alone, in a quiet house, with no sisters next door, no grandmother down the path, no circle of women sharing the endless work. We saved the mother, and we're grateful for it, but we scattered the tribe that once stood behind her. The safety net that caught every ancient orphan has mostly disappeared. For 300,000 years, when a mother died bringing a child into the world, she was never really leaving that child alone. Behind her stood a whole tribe, ready to lift the baby from her arms and carry it forward. They lost the mother, but they never lost the child, because the child was never only hers. We finally saved the mothers. We just forgot to keep the village that used to catch what was left behind.